And my brows look fleeky AF. Ooh, I can see it. Matches my highlight. I'm so obsessed with my nails. It's kind of ridiculous. But whatever. What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. How's it going? So today is going to be a little bit different of a video. I have been trying something different lately with my eyebrows. Actually, I've been trying the soap brow method and I wanted to show you guys how I got it. I went ahead and posted a picture on Facebook of my brows and I'm really liking the method because it pretty much forces me to have to be light-handed with my brows, and I feel like slowly the hard, really extremely sculpted brows are slowly starting to kind of make their way out. At least I've been doing the sculpted brows for some time, so I feel like it's time to kind of change it up and I want to do something more on the natural side. And I feel like with doing the soap brow, that really does achieve that and it pretty much forces me to be a light hand on it. So therefore, it makes it a lot harder for me to have a really dramatic sculpted brow. But essentially, the great thing about soap brows is that it not only keeps your brow hairs in place, and then it also gives a more natural look. It makes your brows look fuller as well. And I feel like it definitely did that. And when it came to filling in my eyebrows, since I don't have a lot to work with, it made that a lot easier. And it even made me kind of change the shape that I usually do, because typically I don't have an arch. It's kind of like straight across. They're a lot lower. But I really do like this look as well, because it does kind of like lift the face a little bit, which I like too. You know, I'm always down for something new, trying something different. But yeah, that is pretty much what today's video is going to be about. So the next clip, you'll probably be extremely zoomed in on my eyebrows. And let's go ahead and get into it. And I'll show you how I get my soap brows. All right, let's get started. So we're gonna go from 0 to 100 real quick. So as you can see, I don't really have too much to work with as far as a brow is concerned. So we are gonna go and do this soap brow method that I have been trying out lately and really loving actually. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So to get started, first things first, you wanna get a bar of soap. This one I have is transparent. You do want to get a transparent one. I tried it with like any old soap because everybody was saying, oh, you're gonna need transparent soap, and I'm like, whatever. I tried it with like a Dove soap and a white residue, which is something that you don't want. This is actually from Neutrogena. This is like a facial soap, so this is pretty good because I guess it's gonna be gentle on your face as well, but any transparent soap will work. Then of course you want to get the soap wet a little bit. I'm just gonna use a Max Fix Plus right here. Can we take a moment to look at my nails? Hold on. Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed. But anyway, I'm gonna take some Fix Plus and I'm gonna just spray it a little bit. Just 2 sprays. That should be perfectly fine. So it should be wet like that. Then I'm just gonna take a spoolie. I use my Precise Brow spoolie at the end of it. You can see it has a little bit on it because I already did this brow off camera. And what I'm gonna do is take this spoolie and just kind of scrub it in there. If it turns a little bit white, that's fine, but it should look like this. Then what I'm going to do is brush all the hairs up, and what this is going to do is make my brows look a little bit fuller, and it's going to make them stay in place. So you just want to take the hairs and brush them upwards, just like so. And even if you have to wet the brush a little bit because I don't feel like it's picking up enough, I'm going to take my Fix Plus, or you could just take, like, I would spray it with some water, get like a bottle of water and just spray it with it. And I'm just gonna go back and brush everything upwards. I really like this technique because it gives me more of a natural brow, and that's what I've been going for, attempting to go for lately. But with this technique, it forces me to one, take my time, and 2, it forces me to like really make it as natural as possible. And I will show you why in just a second. Okay, so now that we've got our brush completely combed out, looking a little crazy, now we're just gonna let it sit and dry. I usually let mine dry for like a good minute. That's about it, and then we're gonna continue on to the next step. Okay, so now that everything is dried, it should feel like almost like a waxy texture to it. So it shouldn't feel stiff, that's for sure, but it should feel like there's a little film over it, some type of like film over your brow. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Kabrow by Benefit. This is in the number 6. This is the darkest one that they have. And what I'm gonna do is take the brush and just dip it in here. And then I'm just gonna wipe off the excess. And what I'm gonna do is give my brow a definition and just kind of line underneath my brow. And you're gonna use very light strokes with this. And you just want to follow your brow shape as well. That's another thing about doing this trick, that like you have to pretty much follow your brow shape since you do sweep your brows upward. So now that we have that, I'm just gonna take some more pomade on the brush here, and I'm pretty much just gonna go ahead and start making hair-like strokes. And you really want to be light-handed on this, so if you're using a brush like this, from the Kabrow, I keep saying Kabrow, from the Kabrow, you don't want to hold it up here because it's going to be more pressure. You want to kind of hold it like back here because there's less pressure on the bristles compared to holding it here. You're bound to put more pressure on it. So I'm just going to go in and start making hair-like strokes. And you see how like right here is pretty much bald? I'm going to start filling that in first because we always want the outside to be darker than the inside. And like I said, hair-like strokes. And you just want to take your time with this. And you want to follow like the hairs that are being flicked out. So as you can see, most of these hairs are going that way. You want to follow that. You don't want to. So now as you're filling it in, you don't want to fill it in kind of like usual, how you'll line it, flick it up here, and then just go in making any old lines. You want to follow the positions of the hair, or you want to follow the way the hair lays. And right here, there's a tiny one, but it's kind of going down. And you really want to take your time when doing something like this because like I said, it takes a light hand and you're doing hair-like strokes. You want to be very light-handed with it. And as you can see, I'm keeping everything low, like down here too. I'm not messing too much up here. And I will show you guys why in just a second. And then as we get closer to the inner part of the brow, you just want to get lighter and lighter with the hand. So once I'm like right here, I like to use like the very tip of the brow, like pretty much just the very edge of the brush, to keep it as light as possible and less product, because you don't want a lot of product here at all. And like I said, you just want to follow kind of like how the natural hairs on your brows go and the position. And I'm pretty much just using the tip of this. So I'm pretty much just using that when I'm on the front of my brow. Okay. So now to pretty much fill in the rest of my brow, I'm gonna go in with my Benefit Precisely My Brow pencil. And this is also in the number 6. I really like their Benefit's brow products. They're so amazing, but honestly you can use the Anastasia one or a pomade or any other brow pencil. These are just the ones I use. And I'm just gonna continue with the hair-like strokes. The reason why I switched to this is because I feel like you get a lot more control as far as product placement with the brow pencil compared to using the pomade throughout it. You can easily get out of control with the pomade. With the pencil, it's something you more have to build with because I don't have so much hairs on my brow. It makes it a little bit harder to build with that. And you're gonna do the same thing. You're just gonna follow how the hairs go. And it still gives you a nice brow, but just making it more realistic and a lot more fluffy. And I've really been liking that look because I'm starting to feel like the really super like filled in brows are slowly starting to get played out. That's just my opinion. So, you know, of course, if you want to continue to really, you know, do dark brows, that's perfectly fine. But this is just how I've been doing mine lately, and I've been really liking it. And I feel like this is kind of helpful for us girls that don't have a lot of brows, because I've been seeing, I see most of the tutorials on this are for girls who have super pretty thick brows already, and as you can see, I don't have too much to work with. So now we got a little bit of a brow going on here. So then I'm just gonna go back in with my pomade, and any really super sparse places that I feel like they need to be filled in a little bit more, I just go back in with the pomade and just kind of touch it up. So like right here, I feel like it was just not a lot there. Right here, down here. And then I'm just gonna kind of bring this in a little bit more. Everywhere on the brow, you're doing hair-like strokes. And what that means is pretty much you kind of put the pressure on the brush and then flick away. So pressure, flick. Like that. It's not that and drag, so just a flick. So even when I'm messing with the top, because I want to touch this one up, because I noticed that this part was just a tad bit higher than this. Even if I'm going to mess with the top, you really want to have a super light hand, just like in the front, because everything needs to be, like I said, hair-like strokes. Like that's the main word of today's tutorial, or main quote, sentence, whatever you call it. But that's the main thing of this tutorial. You want hair-like strokes because you want it to be as realistic as possible. So I'm just using, once again, like the tip of the brush and very lightly just going over everything. Okay, so now that I have a brow now, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and clean up under it. And I'm just going to take my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the color Tan. If you watched any of my recent videos, you know I've been using this religiously because I think it is everything. And then I'm just going to take this old Coastal Scents brush. I've been using this to do my eyebrows for like years. It's like one of my ride or die brushes. I'm gonna go in very lightly at towards the middle, or towards the inner part of the brow. And then what I do is just take the rest of the concealer and take it down the brow. I don't line the top because I wanted to leave it like it is, because I don't want to have a perfectly shaped, sculpted brow. I want it to be as natural as possible. So I keep the line, the bottom of the brows nice and crisp, but I let the top just kind of do its own thing and make sure, you know, just let it have its own shape. But I don't sculpt when it comes to doing the silk brow method. I don't do that with that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this brush. I got this off Amazon forever 3 days ago, and it came with a kit. It sucked. But this was the only really good one that I found for getting detail. So what I'm going to do is kind of take the rest of the concealer that I had wiped down and just kind of blend it in, excuse me. And I do this if I'm not going to be wearing any other makeup except my brows, because it just blends it a little bit better. Alright, so now I'm going to do the rest of my face off camera, and then I'll be right back. Oh, alright, and that pretty much sums up this look. By the way, what do you guys think of my makeup? Do you like it? Do you want to see a tutorial on it? This eyeshadow palette was actually a NYX eyeshadow palette. So yeah, if you want to see a tutorial on it, and this eyeliner was drugstore too, by the way. But yeah, if you guys want to see a tutorial on this look, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I was just kind of playing with some colors. With that being said, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.